Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Kathy. We're going to go over this clip here, and I am really wondering if anybody has the original to this video here. Now, this is from the Silent Sniper 681, and I've seen it somewhere else maybe twice, but I cannot find the original. I've looked on YouTube, I've looked on Facebook, can't find the original, so I'm thinking it got taken down. Now, somebody said that YouTube or Facebook takes videos down automatically after 30 days, and no, that's not right, because there's a lot of videos from June still up. But anyway, I cannot find the original to this, and it's important because I noticed while I was watching this video, and it's so horrible. This is where Eric's got the phone set up, and he's videotaping, asking Timmy about the sore on his head, and making him go along with that. It's from BJ. It's because of BJ. BJ makes him nervous, and BJ makes him pick his head. And I just looked back at and this has got to be, like I said, this is just a copy of a copy, so I don't know when this was taken. But it had to be the last week of August, first week of September, 100%, because of these wall decorations for one thing. But another thing is there was no question of abuse all from the end of June. Eric went there at the end of June. He visited the family, never saw any signs of abuse. Then he came back at the beginning of August. And in the meantime, involved with the videos, he's been watching the family for years, never picked up on anything. Not until it was at the end when he was, in his own words, being chased from Airbnb to Airbnb. He needed to leave Georgia, but he wasn't going to leave without Timmy. And that's when he started all this nonsense at the last week of August with the restraining order from BJ, fake eviction order from BJ. All this other stuff that happened with BJ was the last week, and I'm talking everything was fine on a Sunday, and on a Tuesday morning, he's already driven 10 hours back to West Virginia, because there's somebody won't hand somebody else the phone and some other nonsense. But that's when the ball started rolling. And one day later, we find out about restraining orders, and then so he's trying to build this case that Timmy's being abused, so abused by BJ. But you know what? If you've noticed, the entire time since him and Patrick started videotaping here, and Patrick started, I think, in May. But Mayish, June, I don't know. That's when I saw it. But Eric came along in June. And yeah, he never noticed anything. And if you notice, not once did we see BJ. Not in one single video since they've ever shot. Not in one video have we seen BJ. Not in one. As a matter of fact, we haven't seen any other family members. No cousins, no nothing. No nephews, no nieces, no nothing. No grandkids. We've seen the same 5 characters. Well, let's see. We had Timmy, and Timmy's always been the star from the get-go. He's been the star. The rest are just, backup characters or whatever. But Timmy's been the star. And you got Lorraine and Ray, who barely get any airtime. 90% is Timmy. But you got Lorraine and Ray. And then you got Betty and Larry. And once in a while, you will see Kenny. All right, but mainly you got 5 characters. And we've never seen BJ, who lives there. She lives there, and not once. And how many videos, how many hours, and, live streams and videos and shorts and posts. How come never, ever, ever once did we see BJ, who's living 10 feet from the porch in a camper? Never heard that she was a problem. Never saw a fight break out between the family and BJ. We never saw anything. if we didn't know better, we wouldn't even think she lived there. But everything was just fine until Eric knew that he couldn't go on like this any longer, with whatever was happening, whoever's chasing him, whoever he was afraid of. He said, he was telling us. He knew he couldn't keep coming around anymore. So I believe it was time to extract Timmy, and that's when he really laid it on thick. Now, if you watch this video, like I said, I would love to see the original, but you will see that there are splices. Now, this is rare, very rare for Eric to splice a video or do anything. Now, I know Dwayne is expert at this. And I wouldn't put it past him to have Dwayne splice this up. And Eric probably knows too, because Eric, he's at his podcast. So this is very spliced up. And I don't know if this person who posted this spliced it or if it was always spliced, but I would love to know that. Now let's listen to what he says, how he baits Timmy like this. Now, remember, the Soft White Underbelly has been going there 20 years at the Whitakers. And when he went up there, Mark went up there on the porch, I think the very last video he did a year ago, called Blood Thicker Than Water, something like that. He mentioned, he goes, wow, Timmy, you have an everlasting sore on your head. Like, you've always had that sore on your head. He mentions that, which I thought was interesting. But now Eric is all of a sudden, even though Timmy's had this probably his whole life, and I noticed it when I looked at that Aldi's shopping, and I might go over that one too. That Aldi shopping trip that Patrick took him to for the Whitakers to, I noticed that he had 2 scabs on his head, and they were over to the left side of his, it wasn't on the top like the one that he's pointing out right now, but just, I don't know, a few weeks earlier, I don't know, a month or two earlier, there were 2 completely different sores, and they were on the side of his head, off to the top. Anyway, so these are everlasting sores that come and go, may or may not be caused by nervousness, but Eric is just really running with this sore on the top of his head. And one time he showed a picture of it bleeding to make it even look worse. You know what I mean? Of course, when something's bleeding, it looks way worse than when you clean it up and it dries out. But he's really gone really far on this. And then he tried to say something about Lorraine pointing at her head like she's getting hit with the shoe. So he's really stretching this abuse stuff. But let's listen to this and you decide for yourself. Like I said, I don't know who spliced it, if it was this person or somebody else, but look at the horrible splicing.
Timmy, are you picking at your head? You do that when you're nervous. But
okay, now when he goes, remember, he made that same sound when Eric and his brother was in the back seat and Eric was driving, and they had bringing Timmy home, and they asked him about the massage chair, and he made that exact same sound. That so who knows what that means, But here I missed a second. Let's start over.
Timmy, are you picking at your head? You do that when you're nervous. But I promise you, everything's going to be okay.
Everything was okay and even better before Eric showed up. But he sets this camera up, and I believe he's coached him in between the splices. But here, go ahead. And I also think that there's a signal that Eric gives when he wants a hug. Like, puts his arm out or something. But I noticed he seems coached for the hugs. But, yeah, he's trying to pull at your heartstrings here. And this is going to build a case for the people in the audience to just, scream for Eric to take Timmy out of this horrible situation and take him home. And that's exactly what the goal was.
VJ, is that what makes you pick your... I see now. I'm gonna get this taken care of. But...
Okay. Now, he always has that enraged face. Show it
See
again.
now,
I
I'm
see.
gonna get this taken care of. You're gonna be here with me. If I have to go get your family and bring them with me, I will. Hey, look, get.
Like I said, now it's funny that he not only is the first one ever to discover abuse just last week after spending the summer with him, with this family, never noticed anything. Patrick, nobody noticed anything. Now all of a sudden, Eric's getting run out of town. He can't keep coming to do these videos. And he wants to, his first thought is to take Timmy out of the home with him, go home with him. Now, if his first thought was oh, you're being abused and, BJ's abusing you, well, let's have you go live with your Uncle Kenny. Let's go, have you live somewhere else. How about live with Patrick? Live anywhere. Why with you, Eric? Why is the solution to this sudden discovery of abuse? Why is the solution to go live with you? It makes me even more convinced that you're the one who's coming up with this, manufactured emergency. A reason for you to take him home. I mean, to me, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. And I've been watching some of the old videos, and Timmy is not saying what he's saying. I've learned that, and I'll go over that in other videos.
We're going to get him out of there. I got everything taken care of.
Because he's already been to Adult Protection Services multiple times. He's encouraged the entire 150,000 views, every one of them, to call the Adult Protection if you feel led in your heart to do so. Well, of course, out of 150,000 views, you're going to get a bunch of people calling Adult Protection. That's exactly what happened. Not only did he call a bunch of time, but he encouraged his audience. And there were live streams where there's 5,000 people watching on a live stream. And he's encouraging people to call the Adult Protection and report all this abuse. So you can imagine the overflowing phone calls that they got down there. And this acting here, this over-the-top acting, like I said, I'm sure hoping that it's the case is that Adult Protection knows this is bullcrap and maybe even checking into the more so the abuse may be done by Eric and others. Then I'm hoping that they weren't fooled. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping this cheesy, horrible acting didn't fool Adult Protection in odd West Virginia, in Beckley, or wherever they came from, because, wow, if they fell for this, we're all in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't happen to know, this complete stranger, nobody in their personal lives has ever complained that I know of, but this complete stranger from Georgia who's, anyway, they didn't see the signs. I don't know. That's scary if they didn't. Hopefully they're just erring on the side of caution, and maybe, this will turn out okay when they all come home. I don't know, but so far it's been horrible. I mean, look at that. It's okay. And, he's... Okay, I gotta show you something here. Now, do you guys remember when Eric said that just the mention of his Aunt Barbara, I think it was? I don't know if that's Betty's sister, Barbara, but he's got an aunt. And if you mention her name, he'll start crying. And if you notice, there is a splice right before he says, that's okay. And Timmy appears to be genuinely crying, because I don't know if he can act that. Now, somebody said, why does he have a black eye? I'm hoping that's just a shadow, I think. I don't know. It did kind of look like in some of the shots he had a black eye. But anyway, and remember, he's been with Eric for a week, so the majority of the time. And BJ's been kept away, okay? Now, and this is another thing. If BJ's been kept away for a long time now, how is she still abusing BJ? I mean, right up to the last day when the order for protection was canceled on that Thursday, that on the 4th where Eric failed to show up, so the restraining order was dropped, and BJ went home. The next day on the 5th, Friday, Eric's acting all confused and mad that she's there. Well, that was the first time she came back. So in all that time that she was gone, how could she have been abusing Timmy? She wasn't even on the property. Like I said at the beginning of this, she hasn't even been in one frame so far of any video or picture or anything. We haven't seen hide nor tail of her. Now, how come when she's been ordered off the property, and you know damn well she ain't been there because you watch it 24/7 with drones and everything else, guards and everything else. So you know BJ ain't been around for what, a couple weeks now? And you're still claiming he's being abused? Like, how does this make any sense? But anyway, back to this part where he's gonna it's gonna be a splice, and then he's gonna comfort him because Timmy's crying, and he's anyway. Watch how this.
Family and bring him with me. I will. Hey, look, we're gonna get him out of there. I got everything taken care of.
See that, Splice?
It's okay.
What was before that? Did he just bring up his Aunt Barbara, or whoever that was? I don't know if I remember her. I think it was Aunt Barbara or something. But there's a splice right before it. So he could have brought up the Aunt Barbara and then spliced it, and that's what it looks like would happen. Here. All right, let's watch it again.
Hey, I will. Hey, look, we're going to get him out of there. I got everything taken care of.
Mm-hmm. See the splice?
It's okay. Do you trust me?
Now watch the amounts of splices between crying and questions.
We're going to get him out of there. I got everything taken care of.
Splice.
It's okay.
Splice.
Do you trust me? I got it taken care of.
Splice.
I love you. Timmy, are you picking at your head? You do that when you're nervous. Look.
It's back to the beginning.
I promise you, everything's going to be okay.
I think he gave him a signal to hug.
Are you being nervous
Splice.
about DJ? Is that what makes you pick your head? It is. Okay. I see now.
Oh.
I'm going to get this taken care of. You're going to be here with me. If I have to go get your family and bring them with me, I will. Hey, look, we're going to get them out of there.
Splice.
I got everything taken care of.
Splice.
It's okay. Do you
Splice.
trust me? I got it taken care of.
Splice.
I love you.
See how many spliced together things that was? Yeah, that's what I think. Unless this person here splices together, I don't know. Who's ever got the original copy or something? If there's another copy without all these splices, I'd like to see it. Now, somebody said that this silent sniper person was Patrick. I don't think so, because there's a lot of like insults about Patrick on these pages. So I don't think it is. We all know Patrick is poison, even though this clip had nothing to do with Patrick. That's kind of funny, but I don't think Patrick would allow this on his own page. Anyway, maybe. This rage baits the hell out of me. How could Eric exploit a boy like Timmy for his own personal gain? I'm going to have trouble sleeping tonight after watching this. Yeah, it was terrible. Sad situation. If everybody kept their nose out, they'd still be living happy. And there's always that one. I still think Eric didn't steal any. Patrick's the one. Okay. Eric's already admitted he's hanging out of their money, so I don't know. Denial's not just a river in Egypt, right? I know the details. I don't know the details, but I do know that Timmy is thriving, and it was thriving in a way unseen before. Really? Michael, have you been hanging around with Timmy before all this happened? Because you can look in the old videos. He was thriving, I think, even more before this all happened. Go look at Mark's old videos, okay? And then tell me, besides the haircut, what's the difference? Oh, and I'm going to be going over that Aldi's one because I've got some treasures in that one. And, yeah, he was probably nervous because this dude kept talking to him away from his family. Yes, and that's what they do. They manipulate people by isolating them, taking them out to an Airbnb for a week at a time, and manipulating the hell out of them. Okay, convincing them. Do you know how many times this has happened with and you've even seen it on court cases, but you've seen it and heard about it, where that one parent will isolate the kid away from the family and convince the kid that it's been abused. I mean, remember that one case that it was like a preschool or something, and the mom and the son ran it, and they got accused. Was it that one? I don't know, but there was a school that got accused of molesting the kids and doing satanic rituals with them and everything else. It was just so bizarre. And later they were exonerated. Like, yeah, you can convince a kid anything once you isolate them and just repeat stuff in their head. Pretty soon they actually realize that they've been. I mean, they pretty soon they actually the person, whether it's a family friend or some guy from Georgia, or even, I believe in some cases it has been the authorities who bring them in to interrogate them and all this other stuff. So hopefully they are being evaluated correctly and not some of the horror stories that we've seen, because even the authorities, we've seen it. It's been in the news. We've seen the stories where they were actually the kids or whatever, people were convinced that they were abused when they weren't. So it is very possible, happens all the time. It's been even giant, it's been on there's been stories about how this whole thing works. If you haven't seen it in your own life, you've at least seen it on TV happen. Yeah. You're a piece of work. I work with narcissistic, manipulate people. You take the cake. Yeah. Why was it necessary to do this in front of the camera? This guy is sick. Yeah. And then you have, why does Patrick spread so much disinformation about Eric? Again, they think this is Patrick's channel. Maybe it is. I don't know, but maybe just let a few bad comments slide for the cover. I don't know. I personally don't care. I'm using it for the clip. I don't care who uploaded it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you took care of him all right. Yeah, I got you. Do you trust me? Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing, you guys. Just because you go into state custody doesn't mean it's Club Med. You know what I mean? There have been a lot of stories coming out of, that too. Horror stories coming out of people put into foster care and, into, state custody and stuff. There's been so many horror stories. Good grief. Ask the people who were abused and everything else when they were thought they're okay until the state took them, and then all kinds of horrible nightmares happened to them that affected them the rest of their life. So yeah, just because you go into state custody doesn't, like I said, it's not Club Med. Okay, it doesn't mean you can. It's guaranteed to be a great thing and good for somebody. In fact, most people it's traumatizing, and I will bet that how traumatized, I can only imagine how traumatizing this was for those three to be taken away. You know what I mean? Anyway, so if anybody has original on this without the splices, that'd be great. Because what I see is a bunch of spliced up stuff together to make it look like something that's not. And what's really making me question is Eric usually doesn't splice up videos, but this one was spliced, and it was not a guarantee. This was not on a live stream, because you could not do this on a live stream. Because on a live stream, we've never heard peep out of anybody about abuse. Timmy never said he was abused on live stream. Betty, Larry, nobody ever said they were abused on live stream. In fact, normally on a live stream, they were never allowed to speak. Did you notice that? They were never allowed to speak on live streams. Yes or no questions and then pan away. You know what I mean? Oh, Timmy, go in the other room and watch cartoons. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. Peace.